You remember our venerable house, opulent and imperial. It is a festering abomination. I beg you, return home, claim your birthright, and deliver our family from the ravenous, clutching shadows of the Darkest Dungeon.
How's she going, my son, and welcome back to the Darkest Dungeon. Finally. I got a kick for playing this game again because they added the Radiant mode, which is not necessarily easy mode, but it's short mode, where as they've stated, they cut the amount of time you need to grind to finish a full playthrough from 80 hours to about 40 hours. Which I've been testing, and I'm only 1 week gameplay-wise ahead of the channel's team here, and I'd say I've gotten a lot more done. Now, I might be pussyfooting around a little bit on the channel in comparison, because I did notice in the Radiant playthrough, I've been a bit ballsier, to the point where I've already lost 6 characters. I had a TPK, one character just got gibbed by something I couldn't really control, but one of them was, like, every death other than that was totally my fault, and I'm like, wow, I'm really underestimating Radiant mode, you know, overconfidence and all that. Anyway, one thing that they've done in the interim between last time I played and now is town events that are specifically triggered by doing certain quests. Typically the ones where you have to fiddle with things or you have to pick up things to bring them back to town, you get something. So we're going to show off one of these, hopefully. Now, I'm going to try to keep the episodes a hard 20 minutes, so I'm going to do a lot of the town stuff between episodes. But just to show you where we are, we slapped a bunch of people in here to get their brains and bodies fixed. Some people are drinking, I think. Drinking or gambling, whatever. And everyone else is just chilling. This is our party. Reynold, Ozzy, Loopsy, and the Mad Arab. Just a decent team. I think we'll do alright. I didn't do trinkets yet, so I should go do that. I gotta remember actually what we have. By rarity. The wield is mostly eldritch things, but this is also just melee, so yeah, that works. I kind of like the stun cudgel for that. Yeah, he's not going to be doing a whole lot of damage. I kind of like the collar. Loopsy. Not sure what else I really... bleed skill stone? Do I have a bleed skill thing for him specifically? No? No, I do not. Okay. So, bleed skill stone. Eldritch Killer Incense, probably one of the best items in the game. And... I don't know. Wish I had a plus healing item. I do not. I mean, I have the head, but I don't want to use it. I really don't want to use it when I don't have a slot free for anti-stress management. But, it's a level 1 dungeon, we'll be fine. Boop. Okay, so, a couple shovels, some herb. Does that do anything? I'll bring one more just because I have a stack of it there already. And then boom, 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 boom. And... yeah.
Our land is remote and unneighbored. Every lost resource must be recovered.
Now, one thing you'll definitely notice is that the maps are not nearly as straightforward as they used to be. Which I really like, because, like, you get longer hallways, you got, like, this... what is this, like a 7-slot monstrosity? But then you get one that's, like, just a little one square hallway. I like it. Makes it feel a little more organic. Oh. Quest location. Obstacle. Curio, curio, curio. Okay, well, we gotta head this way anyway. Nah. We're alright. Alright. Gonna be a bit of a boring hallway.
A victim to the spreading corruption. Malformed with misintent.
Assuming that map revealed everything. Because you sometimes get a map that, like, reveals all the curios on the map, but it doesn't reveal, like, the fights or the traps or anything, which is interesting. Speaking of fights. Yeah. Damn it. Gotta stun this guy. With my freaking 175% chance. God damn. Tentacles for everyone. Yeah. Huh, I thought that move caused blight. I know they do have moves that cause blight, but... Can you... Oh no, that's Hound's Harry. Well, that's not a bad way to clean up. Nice. Bleed across the board, always good.
Confidence surges as the enemy crumbles.
Yes! Now, hopefully I have my face cam in the right position. I mean, I'm gonna have to cover something. And it's always inconsistent where there's open space on the UI, so... hopefully if anything really important is covered, I'll just let you know what it is. Nice. Praise the sun! Alright. Yeah.
Great is the weapon
He
that
bleeds
cuts
out.
on its own.
If I've learned anything from all the time I've been playing Warframe, is that armor removal is almost more important than dealing damage. I mean, depending on the game system, but whenever armor equals percentage damage reduction, you typically want to take it off first, because you're effectively cutting through so many times hit points. I mean, like, to give you an idea, this guy had... What did this guy have normally? This guy had, like, 33%. So he basically has 33% more hit points, because he's ignoring 33% of all the damage you're inflicting. God damn it. No! Got, like, the worst result. You know, so removing it is doing more damage than just throwing your damage against him, right? Admittedly, the numbers aren't nearly as big in this as they are in Warframe, obviously, but, you know, same principle applies.
Finding the stuff is only the first test. Now it must be carried home.
Now, admittedly, it also depends on the game. For example, if you were playing Pokemon, debuffing the enemy isn't nearly as effective in that game as buffing yourself, due to the way everything works in that. So, you know, that's a rare example where armor removal isn't nearly as useful. Mind you, if you do it, yeah, if you really do it, it's actually pretty effective, because, you know, like I've been saying, it's a bunch of effective hit points that have been removed from the target, which is pretty good. Which is pretty good. I'm gonna take Guard Dog off and put the other attack on. Yeah. Oh, you're fine.
Another abomination cleansed from our lands.
Take the Guard Dog off for now. This is more of an aggro party. And you need to take off this, because you're never going to be in the front. Although I don't know, you know what? I'll keep it on just in case Loopsy gets juggled to the front by something. I don't know if anything around here does that, but you never know. I mean, unless you just run into like the generic cultists, because they have the tentacle pulls and stuff. Let's see what we get here. Ooh. Yeah, the value on a lot of gems and stuff changed. Sorry, dog. That's a big thing that happened. The amount of money you can store in a stack changed. But also, like, you still hold more with an antiquarian, but you also hold more base now. So it's kind of interesting. Am I glad that they're making the game easier in some ways? In some of the niggling little ways, yes. But at the same time, I'm kind of glad I did my, like, legit first playthrough of this game when it was at probably its hardest. No, I haven't done a Stygian mode playthrough, which is what they renamed New Game Plus to. But, you know, I'd like to do that at some point. I might do that as a channel run, but maybe more focused on the highlights than anything else, but we'll see. Yeah, I don't feel comfortable being swiped there. No! Yeah, I'll be fine.
Their formation
One
is
down.
broken. Maintain the offensive.
No, what did Loopsy do? Stop accusing him of things he didn't do. Yeah. Also, you probably noticed, but this is some new background art for a couple of the levels, which this is freaky as all hell. This freaking hanged arms or hands tree. It's like, goddamn. There we go.
Continue the onslaught. Destroy them all.
Stop shouting gibberish. Okay, well, he'll die on his next turn? Yes. He'll be good. So I don't have to worry about him anymore. Start removing that armor. I guess when you're talking armor removal in a turn-based game like this, you have to think of your action economy. Because you've only got one move for each person in a turn sequence, right? And it doesn't last forever either. They only last 3 rounds. Most of the... like, pretty much every effect in this game lasts for 3 rounds, except critical dots, which last for 5.
Slowly. Gently.
But,
This is how a life is taken.
ooh, nice. Brace the sun.
These nightmarish creatures can be felled. They can be beaten.
Yeah, these got better. The Sid Shrines are still garbage tier, but these aren't bad now. Remove that. Aw. Poopy. Now we go down the super long hallway. Curio, battle. Truth be told, we really don't need to go down there. So, skip it. Super long, uninteresting hallway that we don't need to go down. Anyway, what I was talking about with the armor removal in turn-based games is you gotta be aware of your action economy. One of the reasons I said it's really bad in Pokemon is it's a one-on-one encounter thing. Every turn you're not doing damage, you are, or setting up to do a lot of damage, you're not winning, basically. You're falling behind the opponent. This is true of, like, one-on-one card games, like Magic. Like, I mean, obviously there isn't really armor stripping in that, but just the idea of your position. You can't afford to spin in circles too much.
Gold, trinkets and baubles. Paid for in blood.
You know, you can't afford to just be spinning your wheels to achieve something, rather than actively trying to win the game, sort of thing. Which is the big deal in Pokemon as well. I'm gonna mark you. No armor for, or no dodge for you.
Press this
Nice.
advantage. Give them no quarter.
Loopsy just playing a jig.
Back to the pit.
Ah, getting slimed.
Executed with impunity.
But when you're dealing with a team setting, like
Frightening victory, but a victory nonetheless.
you, pardon me, swallowed my own spit there. Even with the example of Pokemon, when you're dealing with a 2v2 or even 3v3 format, where you suddenly have a party instead of a single one-on-one encounter, removing armor or just debuffing defenses in general becomes a lot more relevant. Becomes a lot more relevant because of the action economy. Like, you can have one character whose function is to buff the damage of the other character, and if the math checks out, you'll buff more than you lose from spending the time not attacking, right?
decisive
Nice.
pummeling.
Critical dog! Get him right in the giblets, Fido. But, yeah. And in a game like this where you've got your 4-man group versus enemy 4-man group, or even less, because, you know, sometimes you fight the enemies that are like 2 squares wide, or even 3 squares wide really late in the game. Although they typically get like 2 turns anyway. Damn it. You end up in the situation where... chop you up, I guess.
Masterfully
Nice.
executed.
I'm gonna scoop back one.
A singular
So many
strike.
crits! But you end up in a situation where it ends up being more mathematically sound to buff or debuff than just have everyone throw attacks at the target. Now, sometimes you don't. Sometimes, like, particularly when the target is squishy already, you're better off just throwing a bunch of damage at something. But sometimes you end up in a situation where the target is really durable, or it's a really long fight, like typical boss fights, right? Where instead of just throwing damage at the encounter, it's better to buff and then, like, exponentially do a lot more damage. You know, compound interest. One of my slogans of life, really. Wham! And the crowd goes wild. And I can slip back up here, and everything's back to... sort of. They're in the wrong spots, but that's fine. Everyone's gonna die on their own turn, so I'm just going to scum a little bit of stress healing, actually.
The slow
Dead.
death.
Dead.
Unforeseen. Unforgiving.
Triple kill! Very nice. Oh yeah, the journals are a thing they
As
added.
victories mount, so too.
I don't know if I'll be taking any of these home today. Skip these for now. Yeah, because this file wouldn't have any of them.
The promise of safety.
This file wouldn't have any of them. Is that a quest item? No, that is a curio. Stuff your faces. Stuff your faces. Boop. Okay. Keeping an eye on my time. Yoink!
Packs laden with loot are often low on supplies.
Wayne, have you looked at my inventory lately? It's practically like 60% supplies. Go fuck yourself. Dogs! Yeah. Ow!
Unbalanced.
You, dodge less. Yeah.
Another one.
Get
falls.
dunked. Alright. Like, to give you an idea, like, to go back to what I was talking about before, this is a good example of a fight where buffing, debuffing isn't nearly as important. I mean, I threw a debuff on him just because I couldn't hit enough targets with his attack, because he's only got this, attack-wise. So it's better, really, to throw out damage against these guys, because, one, you're kind of rolling the dice anyway, because of their 15 dodge.
A death by inches.
And two, well, I didn't have an attack there, but, and two, like, these guys are fairly squishy. They only have 10 hit points apiece, and they have, like, almost no resistances to anything. You know, only 10 stun, a little bit, a decent blight resist, but I mean, that's the zone. This zone will resist blight pretty heavily. So, you know, it's better just to kill him quickly.
Be wary. Triumphant pride precipitates a dizzying fall.
And with that somber note, I will have to end the episode here. Thank you all so much for watching. Twitter, Tumblr, and subscription are in the description as usual. Please do engage in all three. In particular, when subscribing, please click on the bell. And to get more reliable updates when I do update my content. Apologies for the light drought again. Life. Let's just put it that way. As for this series in particular, if you wish to join the merry band of doomed adventurers, please leave a name, class preference if any, or just gender preference if any, or no preference. Just throw your name into the wind and see what happens. But anyway, thank you all so much for watching, and ciao for now.